Thomas Favis, quarterback of the Ashley Bears. You're watching Gridiron Gurus Plus.
Here we are at the Gratiot County Herald to bring you the third edition of Gridiron Gurus Plus. I am Dave Boucher, staff writer, joined always by Curtis Wildfong, another staff writer, and our publisher, Tom McDonald. Last week in our high school picks, I happened to, I wouldn't say dominate, but I definitely, took it to my two cohorts here. I went 5-1. Curtis and Tom went 4-2. So let's get started right away. Curtis, what do we have from Ithaca?
We'll start right off. Homecoming week this week. We got 4 of our teams hosting their homecoming games this week. So we'll start with Ithaca, their homecoming. They will host Michigan Lutheran Seminary this week, who's 4-2. Obviously, Ithaca's 6-0. Ithaca hasn't had too much competition so far this year, but MLS has been a team that's been able to put up some points on Merrill and a couple other teams too. So what do you guys think?
As always, no contest. Ithaca dominates this one. The league is weak, and I got Ithaca by 4 touchdowns.
I think that's definitely what's going to happen here. MLS did have a huge win against Breckenridge for their homecoming last week, but the teams that they've been playing, that they have their 4 wins against, have a combined 4-20 record, and they've given up 108 points in their 2 losses. I have Ithaca winning this one 50-6.
Yeah, and we always talk about Ithaca's offense here, and I know if you go up to coach and you start to talk about their offense, you go, well, wait a second, let's talk about our defense here. They are just as good, if not better. I'm looking here. I have, in their 6 games so far this year, 22 turnovers they have got. That's a lot of turnovers in 6 games. Jake Acker, he has 6 picks himself. That's average an interception a game. So that defense has put their offense in some good positions over the course of the game, and I don't see why they're not going to do it again. I have them 49-7 over MLS.
All right, moving down to the southeast corner of Gratiot County here, we're going to take a look at Ashley against Brethren. Ashley is traveling to Brethren, and the Bears are 5-1 while they take on the 0-6 Brethren squad. Now, last week was homecoming for Ashley, and they took it to a Baldwin team, won 52-14, and Coach felt that it was really key to win in such a dominating fashion.
I think, last year the game kind of got away from us on homecoming, and we kind of backed off, and I really felt that kind of carried down the rest of the year, and we wanted to make sure that didn't happen this year. Last year at halftime, we kind of let off the gas pedal, and it kind of carried over, and I don't see that happening this year. I think our guys are just ready to go,
Yeah, and that's bad news for Brethren coming into Ashley's homecoming game. They want to do a little bit better than they did last year. Brethren, as we're all probably going to say, held scoreless so far this season. They haven't put any points on the board. Their last win, October 17th of 2008. So they're not necessarily a program that's been on the up and up lately, and Ashley is at 5-1. So I think Ashley takes this one.
Ashley makes the playoffs again this year with a win over Brethren. Brethren hasn't scored. It's 62-0. Ashley's going to have the most points they've ever had this week. Another dominating game by Ashley.
Definitely. I think that's a definite possibility. I have them winning 55-0. They have 1 loss this year. It's against Mount Pleasant Sacred Heart, who is currently ranked as the number 8 team in D8 football. Ashley Bears are looking like a better football team every single week that we progress here in the season.
I'll give them another extra point on yours. I'll say 56-0. Then we roll into kind of the team that seems to be the hot team lately, Alma, proving me and Tom wrong a couple weeks in a row. And I tell you what, I was at that Swan Valley game last week, and they are a team that's really starting to click now. Their offense is on track. They started off a little slow. Their offense is improving weekly. Their defense against Swan Valley was just stellar. They played a phenomenal game. Bullet Creek 1-5. I think Alma, the only real threat this week is probably, if they're going to be able to come down off that high from last week, is probably their only enemy.
Well, the Panthers better not let me down this week. I mean, I picked against them the last couple weeks. I thought for sure they would have gotten beat last week by Swan Valley. They come in against a very, very weak Shepherd team, 1-5. Alma wins it by 3 touchdowns.
Exactly. They got the 1-5 Shepherd squad this week, an 0-6 Bullet Creek team the following week, and in the season against Tri-County, who's currently 2-4. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Alma looks like they could be a 7-win team. I have them winning this game 35-17.
Yeah, I think they're just going to keep getting better as the season goes. They've got through the bulk of their schedule, the bulk of their conference there. So I think they win 35-14.
Definitely. Now we move on to one of the toughest games for us Gurus to pick this week. Fulton, 3-3, plays host to Pewamo, Westphalia, who comes in with a 4-2 record. It is the Fulton Pirates homecoming game, and the PW Pirates are coming in off a tough loss against Saranac last week. This game could go either way.
Fulton and PW, Fowler, they're all three tough schools. When they play each other, you throw out all the records. You just throw them out. I like Fulton, but PW's taking it to them. I think Fulton is the one that's going to lose their homecoming game. PW by a touchdown.
And this game, you mentioned that those teams are always tough. The conference is always tough. This game right here between Fulton and PW is always a good game. Their last 5 games versus each other, one including a playoff win. The average differential, 8 points. Fulton leads that 4-1, but that's 5 close games, and I think it's going to be close again this year. But I think homecoming is what gives Fulton the edge. I think they're going to win 24-21.
I gotta agree with Curtis here. I think homecoming is really what sort of puts the Fulton Pirate squad ahead of their swashbuckling opponents here. You know, Barton, their running back, putting up just silly numbers, had 19 rushes for 168 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. You know, and I heard from Coach Winkler this week. He said, quote, "We are still battling for our playoff lives, but each win moves us closer." I think that Fulton takes that one step closer to making it back to the playoffs this year. I have them winning 24-20. So.
And then we will go into our what we call our game of the week here. As you can see, we got Breckenridge versus St. Louis. Breckenridge homecoming, a big week. They lost a disappointing loss last week against MLS. Was in the game the entire game, gave up a safety in the 3rd quarter, a touchdown in the 4th to lose, and it's going to be another good battle this week. And so to help us out maybe with making that decision here, we brought in Breckenridge Athletic Director Ryan Sklenner to help us with a little input on this week's game.
So, Director Sklenner, how do you feel that your Huskies are going to match up against the Sharks this week?
St. Louis always seems to play us tough regardless of records, but last year we lost to them by 1 at their homecoming, and I know the seniors this year remember that, and they're ready to play. I think we're going to win this week.
All right.
I think they're going to pull off the win too. I think that at home, homecoming, like you mentioned, the rivalry between St. Louis and Breckenridge is kind of picking up. St. Louis winning at their homecoming last year. Breckenridge wins at their homecoming this year, 27-7.
Yeah, I think the game could be a little bit closer in the beginning. Could bring up shades of when St. Louis played Ithaca, and it probably shouldn't have been as close as it was at the start. But I think Breckenridge sort of pulls ahead and keeps their playoff hopes alive with a 42-28 victory. So,
both teams tough. I mean, St. Louis has got Eddie Tucker as the running back. They don't have much of a passing game. I think Breckenridge defense is better on their rushing than their pass defense. It's a tough game, but I'm going to go with the Huskies. The Huskies got it by 2 touchdowns. They're going to put it to the Sharks this week.
There you go. Any closing comments here, Mr. Sklenner?
No, the team's getting better. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's game.
Well, there we go. There you have it. The Gurus, again, have spoken. Thank you for joining us here for the Gridiron Guru Plus Edition 3 for Curtis and Mr. Sklenner and our awesome publisher here, Tom. I'm Dave Boucher. I'd also like to extend a special thanks to the St. Louis Athletic Department for giving us the helmet this week. But make sure you check us out for the remainder of the season, and for any more news and analysis, make sure you pick up a copy of next week's Gratiot County Herald. Thanks again.
I just need the crowd behind me.
Looks good.
Yeah, don't get the crowd behind us like game day.